Hello, crafty friends. Coming to you live today to show you some cards I made using the seasonal tag stamp set. I'll give it just a couple minutes to see if anybody hops on. And to adjust my camera, thought I had it all set. Sorry if I'm making you dizzy with my movement of my chair. I'll get it right here in a minute, promise. Someday I'm going to learn how to be really good at this thing called technology. All right, I'm hoping this is going to be good. I'm watching the live on my computer behind me and it takes a minute for it to catch up. All right, well, I guess that's going to have to do. You might see my lap a little bit, I guess, in the video. But we'll have to just go with that. All right, so this stamp set is called Seasonal Tags, and I really like the font, which was really the real reason that I bought it. I like the solid Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, but I like the Merry and the Happy as well. So last week I challenged myself to make some cards using this stamp set so that I could show them to you. And the first card we're going to make today is this Happy Holidays card. And if you have looked online, maybe in the catalog, I can't remember now, but online for sure, this looks very similar to one of the samples that Stampin' Up! Provided. And that was kind of where I started because I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do with this set when I first opened it up. So I'll set that aside. I have all of my pieces already ready to go. We're using a white piece of cardstock for the card base. And I have, of course, scored it at 4.5. And we're going to give it a fold. Use our bone folder to give it a good crease. Set it aside temporarily. I have used the Everyday Arches dies to cut out a piece of white cardstock. It looks like it's about the 5th from the largest size die. Love these dies. I use them on quite a bit of my projects. And I'm going to get out my piece of foam, my foam mat, and some of my grid paper because I'm going to be doing some Stampin' Off. And I don't want to get my foam mat all dirty. So we're going to start off. I'm going to use the tree stamp, and we're going to use Old Olive for our ink. And we're going to just ink it up. We're going to start off with full ink. We're going to kind of just start over here a little bit on the side. And then we'll add one to the left of that without re-inking, so we get a little lighter color. We're going to ink it up again so we get the full ink. And stamp it off again to the side. And then we want to add one more on the other side that we're going to stamp off first. And then we're going to add that in there. One thing I wanted to show you was, I think I mentioned it last time, I sometimes forget to do fun things like decorate the inside of the card or even the envelopes. So I'm actually going to go ahead and decorate the envelope by just doing the same thing. I'm just going to add some trees. Stamp off once and add one more. And that way it just kind of matches the card when it comes in the mail. It's such an easy thing to do can just add, you know, another element, but it's simple, like it's not a complicated thing to do. So I love that. Now we are going to use our Real Red ink for this one. And we're going to stamp. On this one we're using the Happy with the cursive font. And I like to sometimes just practice before I do it, most of the time actually. So we're going to go in with the Happy and stamp away. All right, I'm going to set this behind me in case I need to clean it. And then we're going to use the Holidays. And I've got a little scrap piece of paper, of white paper, to make a banner. We're just going to come in. And actually on this one, I'm going to take the scrap paper out so that I can see the white cardstock better. As I mentioned before, this is really hard to do when I can't look over the top of it. So I'm going to try to bring it down so I can see it better. Oops. And there we go. Happy Holidays. We're going to use our scissors. And I'm going to just cut off this edge, and then I'm going to create a banner on the other edge. I like to come in here in the middle and then snip just like that to create the banner. Go ahead and move the foam mat out of the way because we are close to being ready to assemble. I forgot one thing. Come back. Okay, I am going to punch a hole in this tag so that we can put the ribbon through it. And I am using the old Crop-A-Dile that we used to sell, but any kind of punch you have that will just add a little hole to it is really all you need. All right, so then we're going to take, I've got a piece of old olive twine that I'm actually going to cut it in half, and then I'm going to run this through the hole that I just created. And I swear I do this wrong every time. I can never remember if I want to go in through the front or through the back. So we're going to go through the front first and see if that is the right way. Not that there's really a right or wrong, there's just a way that I like it when it's done. And I'm going to, and I did it right first time this time, that's good. Not quite even, but I'm going to cut that off anyway, so it's all good. We're going to use our glue. I'm going to add just a couple dots of glue to the Holidays banner, and we're going to add that onto the front of the tag. We're going to add our designer paper. This is from the Christmas Traditions designer paper. We're going to just take that, add 5 dots of glue to that. On the front it goes. Isn't that just gorgeous? I actually bought this pack of paper because of this particular sheet that was in there. Alright, and then we're going to get some dimensionals. We're going to pop our tag up off the front of the card. My favorite embellishment is definitely dimensionals. I just prefer to use my fingers to take the backing off. You can use your take your pick tool. I think as long as you have nails, sometimes it's just as easy to use your nails. And then we're just going to add that to the front of the card. We're going to do a little trim of the twine. And then we have our finished product. Super fast and simple. This would be one that would be so easy to mass produce if you send out a lot of Christmas cards. I know some people like to make them all the same. Some people like to make different cards for different people. I do quite a variety. I actually use a lot of what I make for samples and demonstrations. and then I just randomly print out my labels for Christmas cards, and then I go, okay, so which card do I want to send to which person? And it allows me, there are some people that in our family that instead of saying Merry Christmas, I will send a Happy Holidays, and then most of the people I send Merry Christmas to. But I try to cater it towards my audience of who I'm sending it to. So we got the card, and you got the matching envelope. All right, moving on. So the second card we're going to make is this Merry Christmas. And again, I'm fairly certain this is also the same designer paper. It's the traditions of Christmas tradition, sorry. We're going to get our foam mat out. And we're going to get our grid paper out, because one of the very first things I want to do is go ahead and stamp the trees onto the ornament. Now the ornament I cut out from, the ornament and the large circle were cut out from the Ornamental Christmas dies. I have been using all of these dies quite a bit, actually. So we're going to start with the tree again. Let's move my old olive back up here to the front. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to stamp full ink, and we're going to start in the middle. Oh, I forgot to stamp off. That's okay, because I need to do another full ink here, and then we'll do one in the middle where we've stamped off. And we'll do another full ink on the edge with stamping off in the middle. See how just quick and easy that is? You get two different colors of green using one ink pad, which I think is awesome. We're going to set that aside. And I've got a scrap piece of old olive for a banner and a scrap piece of the white cardstock to use as a banner. We are going to stamp both of the words using the old olive. So we're going to start with the Merry, and we're going to put that on the old olive banner. And then we're going to take the Christmas and do that on the white piece. Oh, you know what? Again, it's much easier when you're stamping on white if you move the grid paper out of the way. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and move that out of the way, because we are just about ready to assemble. So we're going to start first by creating our banners. On the Merry, we're doing the banner on each edge, just like we did on the first card. And then we're going to, for the Christmas, we're just going to cut it straight on one side. And then we're going to come in and do the banner edge on the other side. Another little trick, sometimes people have a hard time getting this lined up correctly. So that if you cut that first little slip and then turn your paper over, sometimes it's easier then to feel like you get a better banner. I can do it either way. I don't have a preference, but sometimes I know some people think it's easier when you flip it over to do the second half of the diagonal cut. All right, and then we're going to start assembling. Get this out of the way. I've got a piece of white cardstock, scored 4 1/4. We're going to give it a good crease with our bone folder. We are going to add this designer paper. Isn't that just gorgeous? Even the other side, it's so pretty. But we're going to use the green side. So we're going to do our 5 dots of glue. Add that to the front of the card. I've got the circle that I cut out using the ornamental, which is the ornamental Christmas dies, that I cut it out of old olive. We're just going to add a few dots of glue there. Add it to the card. Take our white banner. Add that to the card down here. The Mary we're going to add to the actual ornament. And you're just looking to kind of get it in the center. For the twine, I'm going to tie a bow. So I've got a piece of our old olive twine. I'm just going to tie a bow, get it to the size I want it, and then pull it nice and tight, make sure it's even. And to put that on the ornament, we're going to use the glue dots, the mini glue dots. Just going to find the first glue dot. And then we are going to use your take your pick tool for this to help just get that off. Kind of push the glue dot into the ribbon. And put it right on the top, like that. We're going to use dimensionals because we're going to pop the ornament off of the page just to give it a little interest. I'll go ahead and trim my ribbons, or my twine, so that they're the same length. And then we're going to add some bling. These are the traditional sparkling sequins. They're so pretty. And the irony of this is that my probably least favorite color of embellishment is probably gold. I don't use gold a whole lot. I'm more of a silver person. But all of the cards just really work with the gold. I love that you can see how much I've used of the gold sequins. So we're going to take, there's 3 different sizes. We're going to take the large with our take your pick tool, and we're going to put the large up here in the corner, and we're going to put a small one next to it. And then we're going to take the medium size to put down here in the bottom. And that card is officially done. Another one that would be super quick and easy to replicate. You could make these, you can make a lot of these really pretty fast. Let me set these aside. While I'm getting ready for the next card, I thought I would just throw it out there in case you haven't seen it yet. Stampin' Up! Surprised us. They do this to us all the time. We don't get a lot of warning when they do little surprise sales. And right now, we currently have free shipping on orders of $75 or more. And that goes through the end of day tomorrow. So if you place a $75 order with me before the end of the day tomorrow, you'll get a card kit to make all the cards that we're making in this video, and you get to make 2 of each. And it doesn't come with any stamped images, so you just need to provide the ink and the stamps, but you will get all your pre-cut supplies and everything you need in order to make the cards. And you can use what you have on hand as well. So I'll keep telling you what products that I use while I'm doing the video, because there are other products that I have pulled in on some of these cards. So for the third card, we are going to make this, and this one I am using the pattern tagged dies, and I'll go ahead and get them out. I used this outline die to cut both the white and an old olive tag out of, and then I used this bow die to create this bow. It's really cool actually how it works. There you can see there's actually like a third little piece that I still have a little piece of paper in there. So you'll see when I put it together, you just overlap the 2 bow parts to create the die. I'm using bling to create like the little center of it. But if not, there is a little center that punches out of the die as well. Just get that out of the way. So let's get the supplies out for this one. All right, so once again, oh, another one. I have started with a white card base. I do white card bases quite often. Sometimes I challenge myself to not use white card bases, but I just like it because if you use a white card base, then you don't have to add an extra piece of paper on the inside so that people are able to write a message, or if you want to stamp on the inside, like it's very easy. If I wanted to, I could come in here and stamp something on the inside. I don't stamp sentiments on the inside of my cards only because I like to leave them blank so that I can use them for what I want to use them for. So I have got a piece of the same designer paper, and it is cut to 4 by 5 1/4, and then I have a piece of Old Olive cardstock that is 1/8 of an inch larger, so 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. I'm going to go ahead and just adhere these so I can set this aside with our 5 dots of glue. And the color in this particular pattern is actually Cherry Cobbler, whereas on the first card it was Real Red. So we're going to switch out the ink on this card, and we're going to go ahead and assemble this part as well. Just get it, set it aside. All right, and then we will get our foam pad out. All right, and I'm using the Merry Christmas. I'm gonna turn around and clean the stamps since I used Real Red the first time. I have my Stampin' Scrub and my Stampin' Mist on my desk behind me. All right, so we've got that. We're going to start with doing the tree branches, and we're going to use Old Olive. And we're going to stamp one this way, and then one that way. And then I'm going to take my pecan pie or pecan pie, whichever you say it, Stampin' Write marker, and we're going to come in and we're going to just fill in to add a little bit of the brown so that it looks like an actual stick, like a tree limb. If you haven't heard the news, Stampin' Up! Is discontinuing our Stampin' Write markers. So if you really like our markers and you like to use them to stamp with or to color with or to write with, they are on the clearance rack. I believe they call it the Last Chance. So they are all out. Like, I think they're still available. I know some are still available. I think they might all still be available. But it's a great opportunity with the free shipping. If you want to get the rest of your markers, if you don't have them, you could go ahead and stock up. All right, and then we're going to do the words next. But we're going to use the Cherry Cobbler. We're going to do Merry. And Christmas. I just realized I might have forgot something on the last card. Christmas. All right. I think I forgot the bling on the last card, but that's okay. We'll just keep on moving on. It'll be in the picture. You can see if I used bling on it. Oh no, I didn't forget it. Never mind. Scratch that. All right, so we're going to come in this time. We're going to create a banner, but we're going to just do slanted edges. This is another one of my favorite ways to just create something different. It's not just this piece of rectangular cardstock. move this ink pad out of the way because I believe we are done with cherry cobbler. So I'm just going to set that right there. And we are ready to finish assembling the card. So oh no, we're not. Oops, my bad. I need the cherry cobbler again because I forgot to stamp the little holly berries that are included in the stamp set. So we're just going to add a few of those. Just adds a little color. Now we're done with the cherry cobbler. And now we're ready to assemble. Okay, so we're going to start with a little bit of glue. Basically, you know, just wanting to layer the tags so that we can put that onto the card front. So we're just going to add a couple drops of glue there where we know it overlaps. And this is what the bow looks like when you cut it out. You get these two pieces. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, it goes the other way. Yeah. And you're literally just going to overlap them. So I'm just going to add a tiny dot of glue and add the other piece of the bow. And there you have a quick and easy bow that didn't require any tying. I know not everybody is a fan of tying their bows. I actually enjoy tying bows, but I know not everybody likes that. And what I want to do is actually put the tags on the card first so that I can then just add a drop of glue there. You could also use a glue dot if you wanted to. We're just going to set that in there. Oops. There we go. And we're going to add the Merry Christmas. We're going to use dimensionals, if I can find where I put them. There they are. There's just something about popping images off the page that I really enjoy. I probably could have cut those in half, but they fit, so we're going to stick with them being full size. I always like to set both of them kind of on there, get an idea where I want them before I take the adhesive off. I have been known to be a little OCD sometimes, so I just like to make sure I get them where I want them before I just start randomly putting them in place. All right, we got our Merry Christmas. And now we're going to add our embellishments. We're going back to those traditional sparkling sequins again. And we're using the green this time. So we're going to use a large green and the small green down here on the bottom. Then we're going to use the medium green to kind of finish that little bow off. And it gives it a little sparkle. It's really, I think it's really great. Well, there we go. That's the finished card. That's the third card. All right, the fourth card, I decided to do a square card. Every once in a while, I just feel like the normal size card is too much space to fill. It's more the space than I want to fill. So this time I decided I would go ahead and make this. This was like the perfect design to make it a square card. Now, if you mail a square card in a square envelope, it requires extra postage. If you mail the square card in our normal envelopes, don't fold it, don't do anything. Keep it the regular size. It does not require extra postage. Square envelopes do. I don't really understand why, but they do. So we're going to start off. On this one, we are using the Real Red. I need to clean the Christmas word off because I had a cherry cobbler on there. And get my foam mat out. And my grid paper, because we'll be stamping off the edge of the ornament. So we'll start with the tree branches, and we're going to stamp off. We just want a little bit. I guess we're not stamping off, but we're stamping off the edge. And I did recently re-ink my ink pad, if you can tell. I've been using this color a lot, so it was time for it to be re-inked. And then we're going to use Real Red. So we can stamp Christmas in the middle of the ornament. And we will set that aside, and now we're going to get out. Now the finished card will be 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. So you just need to take your 8.5 by 11 and cut it to 8.5 by 8.5. And then you'll take that and cut it in half, score it in half, and you get 2 card fronts out of that. So this piece of paper this is Real Red, and it is 4 by 4, so that it mats nicely on the front of the card. And we're using Real Red, and we're using the Merry cursive stamp. And this is just going to be giving it that tone on tone look. Sorry, I swear I need a bigger desk. And I'm just going to start by kind of starting at the top and staggering. Doesn't have to be perfect. You're just trying to create a random background with the word Merry. Then I'll come in and just fill in. The edges. Just like that. You've kind of created your own designer paper. All right, now I think we're ready to assemble. We're going to take our white card base again. We're going to go ahead and fold it in half and give it a good crease with our bone folder. And I have this opening this way, but you could actually have it open that way as well. I like top fold cards just as much as side fold. We're going to do 4 drops, or 5 drops, sorry, can't count. I would say I wasn't a math major, but I kind of was because I was an accounting major, but that's okay. We're going to add that. We're going to take a piece of old olive cardstock that we've cut out the circle from the Ornamental Wishes dies, and we're going to just add that, center that on the front of the card. Once again, dimensionals, because it just gives that ornament just a little pop off the page. And it takes it from simple to just not as simple. I don't know how to explain it. For some reason though, it just adding that dimension just seems to really make a difference. We're going to add that onto the circle. I have 2 pieces of our Real Red and white baker's twine that I cut them way longer than they needed to be, but for the sake of the video, I just cut 2 pieces. We're going to put them together, but then we're going to create a bow. So this creates like a double bow, and it just makes the bow a little more substantial. We'll go ahead and tighten that up. Oops. Kind of get it to the size you want it. Then we're going to use our glue dots to adhere that. So we're just going to set this on the glue dot. Use your take your pick tool. the edges of your twine to whatever length you want them. You could leave them long if you wanted to. And we're going to add some more bling. We're going with the green again for this card. And I love that there's 3 different sizes because, you know, they tell you when you're designing things, like you would design embellishments and such, that you would want to use 3. So when there's only 2 different sizes, I never know whether to use too big, too small, you know, like so that you get to 3. So we're going to put the larger one up here in the corner. We're going to add the medium-sized one down here, and then a smaller one just somewhere up in here. There we go. So there we go. Now you have a square card, 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. Bring out the other cards. Give you one last view so that you know what you're going to get. If you place an order with me by the end of the day tomorrow, you're going to get a card kit where you will get to get all of the pre-cut supplies to make 2 of each cards. So 8 cards total in envelopes. It will include the embellishments that you need. I will pre-tie your bows for you so they will be ready for you. And all you need would be stamp sets and inks and adhesives. If you have any questions, let me know. Hope you enjoyed. I'm maybe getting a little better at this. I just got to figure out how to get the table view to be better so that you're not seeing my lap. Hopefully you didn't see too much of my lap. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you have a wonderful day.